time once again to catch up with Nick Wishner, the Managing Director of Guildford Fringe. Welcome back to BBC Surrey.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me again.
Always a pleasure, always a pleasure. And as always, you're armed with some ideas of what to do out and about around the Guildford and wider Surrey area over the coming evenings and indeed weeks. Let's start off with an event tonight and a historic talk all about Guildford.
Yeah, Edward Eady is a true Guildfordian. He's born and bred, he's been around for years, and I can't remember how old he was, but he bought or was given a camera when he was a child, and he was thinking, what shall I do? So I'm going to go test it. So he wandered around Guildford with kind of no agenda, just wandered around taking pictures of the town centre. But this was probably about 40, 50, 60 years ago. So now these pictures have reappeared, and there's going to be a talk at the Keep pub from 7:30 tonight with Ben from Ben's Collectors Records, and they're going to look at the pictures and talk about what it was like then and what it's like now, and how much Guildford's changed.
Wonderful. And of course, Ben, regular contributor to BBC Surrey as well. He knows his music, so marrying up all the visual images with the music of the time as well.
Absolutely, yeah. That
should be good.
Ben and Edward could talk all night. Every time I bump into them, they get their iPhones out and show me through the pictures. They are fascinating. If you're around tonight, and that event's completely free, of course.
Wonderful. Let's come on to some comedy. We've got a comedy double bill taking place tomorrow at the Backroom venue.
Yes, we've got Ed Summers, who is doing The King of the Ocean. Ed is a really wacky comic. There's no speech in this show at all. This is all done kind of by mime and
I know this is interesting.
Yeah, mime and kind of clownery, really kind of random, kind of broaden your imagination, if you like. He popped into the shop last week and gave us a kind of a synopsis, and all I can say is it's going to be a bit different. It's definitely worth coming down to.
Good.
Yeah,
good.
That one's at 7:30, and he's followed by Ollie Bettesworth, who is talking about passing the age of 30 far too fast and his expanding waistline. I think we've all gone through that. Well, I can't speak for you, of course, but I certainly am going through that.
Waistline expanded, recognise what's happening, did my best to sort it. Kind of halfway house at the moment.
Oh, well, how do you do that? I need some advice.
No, I'm into my cycling.
Oh, are you?
Summer
okay.
arrives, cycling does it for me.
You are very slim, I must say.
Bless you for saying that. More events. In fact, 3 taking place. We're Monday today, tomorrow's Tuesday. These events are for Wednesday, aren't they?
These ones are a Wednesday, yeah. I mean, we've got at least 3-4 events every single night of July, so do check out the GuildfordFringeFestival.com website, because there's plenty more than what I'm just talking about here. But on Wednesday, we've got 3 cracking events. First of all, Going South. That's at the back room of the Star Inn. 3 West End ladies, all been in the musicals up in the West End, and they're kind of doing funny, naughty, quirky songs, changing lyrics to popular songs, basically. Very similar to the fascinating Aida. I think they've been around to the Ivanano a few times, but along that kind of line.
Right, so perhaps lyrics that we wouldn't share necessarily at 5 to 6 on a...
They probably won't be singing
evening.
Live on the BBC.
Right, okay. that sort of show.
Definitely not disgusting. These are classy ladies, but they are probably a bit ruder than the BBC. But
right, okay, that should be a bit of fun.
Talking of rude, though, we're going on... They're not rude, to be honest. The Naked Girls Reading are coming to a new venue for us, the Tudor Antiques, which is just up the alleyway off the High Street. Really lovely venue. They serve cocktails out of teapots, really quirky. To get in, you need to text ahead and they send you a code for the door. So it's Guildford's secret venue. They've really, really nailed the marketing on that. I love the venue.
Intriguing.
It's covered in like antiques and really kind of quaint and quirky little venue. And the Naked Girls Reading are performing up there. So they'll be reading poetry, verse, bits of novels, and they'll be naked.
There's a clue in the title.
Yeah.
And that's just really intriguing marketing as well, because little quirky things like that, texting you a code that you have to input into the door.
I love it.
That's word of mouth type of material.
Absolutely. Their marketing is very much word of mouth. It's kind of gone a bit wild. It's fantastic. And the other event that I'm kind of featuring on the Wednesday is the You Must Be Stoking Comedy Club, which has been around for 9 years. It was set up by Paul Carenza, who's also been on BBC Radio recently talking about his own show, Navel-less Gazing, coming to Guildford Fringe later on in the month. But You Must Be Stoking, the headline act is Christian Riley, superb comic musician. So he plays the guitar, plays silly songs, really, really high-end headliner. He's joined by James Alderson, Troy Hawke and Connor Drum, and that's at the Stoke Pub and Pizzeria in their function room at the back. Really nice room for comedy.
All right, we're talking of food, movie and a meal at the Keep pub.
Yum. It must be dinner time almost now. Yes, every Wednesday this month, the Keep are hosting movie and meal nights. The tickets are £12 and it includes a light supper as well. So on this one, they're playing, it's a Laurel and Hardy night, so we're playing Our Relations in the first half of the evening, followed by 2 shorts to end the evening, which is Brats and Twice 2.
Timeless, that's the word.
It is timeless.
It's
Absolutely. Brian, the landlord of the Keep, absolutely loves Laurel and Hardy, so every year he always puts some Laurel and Hardy on there.
Good man, good man. Right, plenty more taking place as part of the Guildford Fringe Festival. That's where my list ends, but yours continues. Well,
I've got a brochure full of 130 events, so get comfy, guys. We're here for a few more hours.
Two to do.
And one event I did want to kind of shout out about is I've said before, I used to be an actor myself. Every year in the Fringe Festival, I put my own show on. We've set up a bursary called the Jack Wishner Bursary. We give money to students who have the talent but not the funds to go to drama school. So this show's on the 12th of July. I'm joined by a really good friend of mine, Nick Tudor, who's the MD, is also doing some singing, and we've got a couple of other surprise guests as well. And it's called Miscast, and we're singing songs from the shows, but the boys are singing the girls' songs and the girls are singing the boys' songs, so a little bit different and quirky.
Wonderful stuff. And so actually, there's a bursary up for grabs as well, is there?
Yeah, so I think we've given away about £5,000 over the last couple of years, so it's not a massive bursary, but I just feel like the older I get, the more lucky I know I was, coming from a nice family that when I went to drama school, if I couldn't afford my fees, I knew my mum and dad would help me out. I didn't really think of it then, but now looking back, I see so many younger people than myself coming through and trying to get to drama school who are far more talented than I ever was, and the only thing stopping them is the money.
It's the money.
And I just think it's so unfair. The arts is such a middle class thing, and I don't think that's right. I think the arts should be accessible to everybody. So we're trying to do our little bits, but that's at the Harbour Hotel, which is a new venue and a headline sponsor.
Wonderful. Well, look, Nick, as always, thank you for joining us here at BBC Surrey, inspiring us with a few ideas what to do over the coming days, nights and indeed weeks. Very briefly, how can we find out more? You've got a website.
Just visit guildfordfringefestival.com or come into our box office and art exhibition in the White Line Walk Shopping Centre.